Hi, I'm Kristen Davis, and I want to know, are you a Charlotte? Hi, welcome back to Are You a Charlotte? I love my guest today so much. It is Heather Graham. She is an incredible actress. She was on the show Sex and the City in the 5th season, but mostly she's on the show today because she's a super fan and she has so many thoughts and feelings. And I have loved her work for so long. She was in, to name just a few, Drugstore Cowboy, Boogie Nights, Austin Powers. I mean, The Hangover. I could go on and on and on. Her career has been fantastic and she is a joy. And this particular episode is a thrilling episode. It is called X and the City. It's the end of season 2. It aired October 3rd, 1999, which sounds like I'm making that up, but no. And the funny thing about this one is it's written and directed by Michael Patrick King, who then, went on to write and direct the movies and Just Like That. And we love him very much. And I think it might be one of our best all-time episodes.
I agree. I think it's my favorite episode ever.
I think so too. I was rewatching it. And one of the things about rewatching, which is interesting, is that, of course, when you're in something, you have your own memories, which might have to do with what was happening behind the scenes that day or, different things, right? So I remember pieces of this episode and I didn't remember that they were all together in one episode.
Well, I think it's really interesting we're talking about this today because of Robert Redford.
I know.
And the way we were. I mean, that way we were scene at the end where you talk about Hubble and all that stuff.
Yes.
And he just died. And of course, what an iconic, amazing person.
I know, an iconic, amazing person. And I have to say, I have so much, I take so much comfort from the fact that he was 89 and he died in his sleep.
No, he had a wonderful life. Look at all the incredible things he did.
I know, what a leader.
Yeah.
I mean, like for us, we're roughly in the same decade of category of age. That was who we looked at as
he was probably one of my first crushes.
Right?
Harrison Ford, Robert Redford. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was my first film I ever saw. My mother
was
took
The Way
me.
We Were?
No.
Oh.
Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid.
Okay.
I was 4 years old. She took me to the theaters because no one thought
so
twice about this stuff.
I was not allowed to see like an R-rated or PG-rated movie.
I don't even, everyone's getting killed and I'm just sitting there.
Yeah.
But I was it's such a beautiful, beautiful film to look at.
Yeah, it is.
And I was so enthralled, of course, with both of them, Paul Newman, Robert Redford, my God.
Yes.
And just the beauty of the film, I was like fully,
it's a classic.
In love in every way with filmmaking, and the power and their eyes and their souls.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the X and the City is a classic episode too. I mean, when I go back and rewatch, because sometimes whenever, like for me, it's like a comfort and also it relates to a time of my life as well. But I watch those episodes and there's something about it that's so uplifting and inspiring. And that's one of my most inspiring episodes.
I mean, really, when I watched it, I had chills many times when I rewatched. And I mean, I remember, of course, Carrie in her white dress outside the plaza because it's a very iconic image and it was so beautifully filmed.
Yeah.
But I had forgotten all of the other little details. I'd forgotten about the scene. We're going to get to it in the pink dress in 11 Madison, which is so good. I had forgotten that my horse riding was in that episode. I remember my horse riding through Central Park.
Was that really you?
Yeah. Well, not the galloping. I guess it's really a canter. But I did ride. I did ride. I had to go to Staten Island for horseback riding lessons, which was a whole trip.
Lucky. That must have been fun, right? It makes me think of the Staten Island episode.
That's true. But it didn't seem like this. It wasn't that Staten Island.
Okay.
It was a different Staten Island where I was like, is anyone going to be able to find me and come get me? It was more like that. No offense.
So it wasn't fun. Okay.
I mean, it was fun because there were horses involved and I do love horses.
Yeah.
But it was more like that kind of part where you go to a part of New York City and you're like, I had no idea that this existed. It was like that. It was like that. But I got to ride a horse and then we went to the Claremont horse stables, which now have been closed down. But it was the weirdest, crazy, it's where we're filming in the episode. There was a horse elevator because it's basically a building of horse stalls from the turn of the century.
Wow.
That they finally had to close down because it just wasn't safe for the horses, right? Because there was like too many horses in there, and they're on this rickety horse elevator that you can see in the background of that scene with Sarah Jessica and I. I know.
Yeah.
And then people would keep their horses there and ride their horse out into Central Park. Like, have you ever been in Central Park and see someone ride by?
Yeah, yeah.
It's so crazy.
So they came from that stable.
Yeah, but now that stable's closed, so I don't know where they're coming from now. It's really interesting.
The horse image at the end to me was such a beautiful thing that expressed to me what was so inspiring about the show was like this horse that can't be tamed.
Yes.
Like maybe she's just a horse that needs to run free. And it was very cool seeing that in a TV series because there weren't that many I can't even think of a show that expressed like you don't have to get married, you don't have to have kids, you can just feel good about yourself, wear a fabulous dress, have great friends, and just enjoy your life regardless.
Absolutely. And I think for me as well, when I read it, 1998, I thought this is like nothing else and I have to be on this thing and I want to live like this.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have the confidence that the characters had and I didn't have like that much dating. I wasn't like bold. Like,
I mean, you had a lot of confidence to act and become a famous actress.
But it was acting. It was acting.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm
So you're saying you were more shy and
and more like going home. I was already sober at this point in life, so I wasn't.
Oh my God, that's so funny. So you were doing that show sober where you guys drank cocktails.
Exactly. I know. And it did come to haunt me in a way. So I was telling you about the one picture we were talking about whether I don't know how we got into this, but whether we have pictures of ourselves up in our house because some actresses do, which I always find super fascinating, right? Because we are kind of, there's a lot of images that get taken.
They're celebrating whatever themselves.
Exactly.
But I've always kind of slightly hidden it. But I also think it's cool people that celebrate it.
Me too. Because I do think it's like an accomplishment. Like it's an accomplishment.
Very
much, it's a hard job. And, if you do make it at all and have images taken of yourself, like put them up. But I never really feel that way, except for, I was telling Heather, in my closet, I have a framed picture of the cover of Time magazine that has all four of us on it. And it says, "Who needs a husband?" ?
That is so, because I can't think of another series, and maybe you've thought about it this more than me, but that celebrated single women just having a great time before Sex and the City. Like if you look at like Laverne and Shirley, it was like, oh, they're sad. They can't find any guys. Poor them. Like this was like, we're single and we're fabulous.
Right,
you know what
right.
I mean? Like,
there's Mary Richards.
Okay.
But I mean, it's hard. You have to really like look through decades.
You're talking about Mary Tyler Moore? Or?
Exactly. That's her character's name, Mary Richards.
Yeah.
I feel like, cause, she's throwing her hat in the street, like she's
having
kind
fun.
Of fit, fabulous, and in her.
That's probably
era.
the only other.
And then there's the Golden Girls.
Yes, of course, the Golden Girls,
which is a complicated thing to compare us to, I find.
Right.
But people do,
right.
because they dated, I guess. I never really watched it. I think that's also why I'm confused.
I know. I'd never watched. I watched every episode of Sex and the City.
Thank you.
Multiple times.
Aww.
It's a very, it's funny because I didn't at first watch it when it first came out, but I was working in Prague. I was doing a movie and I was missing home and I binge watched like every episode and I fell in love and I'm friends with Molly Shannon. I think she was on an episode.
Yes. And she did Divorce with Sarah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They're friends and stuff. But I remember that like, because that was before, I feel like, it was harder to like watch things on demand. Like you had to be home to watch it or you had like, you could miss it.
No, it wasn't on demand.
I can't remember if like you could record it on your VCR, but I remember.
Well, the TiVo came.
The TiVo. No, but I remember running home. I was having dinner with Molly and we were like running home to catch the next episode. We're like, we can't miss it.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah,
I mean, I wish the world was simple like that now.
Now there's so much content.
There's so much
But
content.
at least there's more content for women. I feel like before we were kind of just stuck watching like 3 channels, 4 channels. Yeah.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, there are a lot of other shows now with women as leads and with groups of women, though, like you have to look hard to find one that is about women celebrating being single. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my friend and I are actually working on something like that right now.
Good.
We're working on a show like that. But yeah, I feel like now a lot of shows are very dark. It sort of feels like, you can't take it seriously unless there's a murder or unless somebody is like super duper dark and screwed up. But there's not just like, just like having fun and like women talking about stuff that you never saw a woman talking about on a TV show, like farting or like different kind of sexual craziness.
Right. No, I know. I mean, there was Girls After Us.
That's true. But that was after.
It was after, definitely. And then there was Issa Rae's show, which was great.
Yeah, that was great.
Right. But I mean,
that's not that many shows though.
Right. No, and all of those are HBO. And I feel like there was some kind of intention on their part to continue having a version of that show, which I'm thankful for, right? Because we need more versions of that show. Mm-hmm. So, and let's just talk briefly before we talk about the episode, which there's so much to talk about. Tell us when you came on the show.
Yes. So I'm in an episode. You know what's funny is that a lot of people talk to me about this because,
Still?
I did a cameo. Yeah.
Wow.
Like it still comes up that people will be like, oh my God, I'm watching it. Or you were on Sex and the City. And so, yeah, I'm friends with Nadia Dejani.
Yes.
And she was the face in that episode. The one who goes, oh, you dated Aiden. And then she makes the face. So, and she was really good friends with a lot of writers on the show. She was friends with Michael Patrick King, Liz DiCillo. I think she actually helped Liz DiCillo get that job.
Oh, wow.
And all the fabulous people. And so I did a cameo. And Willie Garson was actually a friend of mine. I used to live next door to him. I know, I'm very sad he's not around anymore. But no, it was fun being on the show. And one of my really fun memories of being on the show was, I think Sarah Jessica's very cool. And then I got to meet her and she was so kind. And I was asking her, how do you wear these high heels all the time? I find them so uncomfortable. Like, how do you do it? And she was being so sweet. And then she sent me a gift of there was a pedicure foot massage place in the village. And she sent me a gift certificate to go get a foot massage. And I'm like,
nice.
That was incredibly generous and kind. Yes.
She's a sweetheart.
Yes. It was really sweet.
That's good. So when you came on, tell me what you do. Because I can't remember.
Okay. Well, basically, it's the whole episode is about, and I have to rewatch. I haven't recently seen it. But basically, she's in the bathroom and my friend Nadia, she plays a booker for Saturday Night Live.
Oh, yeah.
And so they say something about Aiden and she goes, oh, you're Carrie. And then she makes a face like, ooh, you really screwed him over, basically. Oh. And then Carrie gets paranoid, like, oh my God, does everyone think am I a jerk? Was I a jerk? Blah, 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 blah. And then at the very end, she meets Nadia in the park with me. And it's like, oh, she's with Heather Graham. She's this booker for Saturday Night Live. And she goes, oh, this is Carrie. And I go, and I do the face. And it's all about her just being paranoid. Like, are people gossiping about her being a bad girlfriend to Aiden?
I can't wait to get there.
Yeah.
When you get there.
You'll
How
see.
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I really previous to doing this podcast thought that I was very knowledgeable about our show and all the plots and everything. So not. Because you're in it. You can't focus on everything. You're exhausted.
And when you go back and rewatch, you see how smart the writers were. Like even all the horse imagery they placed through this episode, like with your character and then the final horse imagery at the end, which is so memorable. It was really cool.
I agree. So, Michael Patrick's genius, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all the other writers too.
They managed to do have a lot of humor, sexy, but also this poignancy and this kind of fresh point of view about women and dating and culturally, like what we women can hope for.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, there's just so many details that tie in together. And of course, I just remember my own like, oh my God, I get to ride a horse. Oh my God, I've got to go, practice again because I've ridden before for parts. They always have a lot of stress. The horse wrangler doesn't trust actors. I get it, right? And you have to go out and prove yourself to the horse wrangler or whatever. And that beautiful bridge that they chose in the park.
It's beautiful.
And I love the park so much. So it was so magical to get to do that.
Yes.
And I think there was another horse riding scene that they cut, which is fine. It was, I think, I mean, when I look at the episodes, this is also one of those episodes where we're really getting it together writing wise, where...
Yeah, because it changed so much from the beginning of the first season to the end of the second. Right. It went from being like everyone's talking to the camera.
Right.
And,
and there's other people and random people on the street, supposedly, but they're actors. And then now we're like... the voiceover says things like, meanwhile, uptown, and they cut to Samantha. It's very economical in terms of...
It's more focused on the main characters, which I think was better than having a bunch of just like people on the street going like, well, sex in New York City, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Right. I mean, the joy of that, though, is also that HBO allowed us to do that.
For me, the other best thing about the show was you'd have all these moments where people are going through the ups and downs with their romantic lives. And I loved all the story with you and Kyle MacLachlan. And then you're, ending up with Evan and stuff. It was so great. But just that you go through all these ups and downs and then you'd think, oh, she's going to get back together with a guy like in a romantic comedy, but then they would all just hang out together and have a great time.
Yeah.
Which one of my other favorite ones is the Cock-a-Doodle-Doo, where you guys are at the very end, it ends with you guys and the drag queens on the roof and it's just like they had a very lovely life. you know, and you guys were all dancing around the roof. So
Absolutely.
that it was kind of just about like the friends enjoying their friendships and just happy,
It's
you know,
true.
without being like, oh, the movie needs to end with like a wedding and like a woman with a pregnant belly.
Absolutely. And I do think that there was this stress, which I totally understand from the fans when we did end the first series, that we were all paired off and people felt like that was a betrayal. And I fully got that. But I also feel like for the writers, you know, at that point, they've been kind of living this and they felt like Carrie wanted to be chosen.
But she did say, and the most important relationship is the one you have with yourself.
She did.
So she ended on that, even though everyone was, you know.
Right. And I know Michael Patrick feels very strongly that that is the through line to all of our, you know, the first show, the films, the second show. That's the through line to all of it. But for me, the other thing about that is, well, you can't really necessarily film someone just being happy with themselves at home as a film. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So it manifests itself in many ways, right? Like you want to see them in life and you want to see that get challenged and you want to see that go through things and how real is it? Is there yet another layer?
I loved all the plots with you and Kyle MacLachlan where you caught him like masturbating and then you took your wedding pictures and put it over the jug.
I honestly, some of that is blacked out. I'm going to have to watch it, but it was so stressful because like you're really in it. You're really, really in it in so many ways. You know what I'm saying? You're not.
Right. I'm sure from your point of view, your character, it's really stressful and hard, but from an outsider, it's kind of funny. But you know what is my favorite moment of you in the whole series?
What?
I'm thinking of right now is that when you're like, where is Mr. Right? I've been trying to find him for so long. And then you're like, my hair hurts? Or what was that line again? What was it?
I've been dating since I was 15. Where is he? My hair hurts. Or maybe in different order. You know what was really great about that? Yeah. That was when I remember, we haven't gotten to that yet. I think it's season 3. And I remember I was so excited because I was getting more storylines, right? I was really into it. Yeah. And that was after the Staten Island, which I think is the first episode of season 3.
Oh, right. The fireman. Yeah.
And we're all hungover because I dance on the ship, you know, right? I'm all crazy. Or maybe in the bar. I think I'm in the bar and I'm like, I'm pretty, I'm a catch. You remember that whole thing? I think it's that, right? Is it that, Easton? Easton knows everything. I think it is, yeah.
That's
so then the next day I'm hungover, right?
Yeah, okay.
So I'm hungover and they said, you know, you're not going to wear any makeup. And I was like, woohoo!
Yeah,
you know, like it's so exciting. And I remember getting there and thinking like I looked really horrible. And I remember our sweet DP, thank you, saying like, you look great. You should never get any hair and makeup. And I was like, oh my God, how amazing. And then the fun part of that was that right after that is when we started getting nominated for awards.
Right.
And when they would nominate me, they would show that clip. And I would get to hear the whole audience laugh.
That's fun. I think it's relatable as a woman. You're like, because I think a lot of times we're fed this idea like, oh, you're going to meet this like knight in shining armor, like in a fairy tale. Yeah. Then you're going to have feel so happy and the rest of your life's going to be happy. And you're like, nope.
No, for sure.
I mean, maybe there's some people that have found like, but nobody has that complete fantasy.
And nobody is not going to, even if you meet the person, it's not just going to be happy. That's not how life is. It's such a
But it's that disillusionment where I think when you grow up thinking, well, if I do this and I try to look really good and I do this and I date right, like I'll find this person and then I'll be so happy and it'll be all done. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. It's not all done. Yeah. That was partly why we wanted to do And Just Like That. Okay. Because even though Charlotte is happily married to Harry and that hasn't changed, it doesn't mean that life is over, right? Yeah. Like, what if she wants to go back to work? What if there's stuff going on with their kids? You know, Carrie, you know, what if someone that you found and you went through all this hell to be with and then they might die? This happens.
That happened to my friends, you know. They were so happy and they were kind of like the iconic couple where you're like, look, these people are happy. They have it. And then he died. Oh, so
that's
sad.
Awful.
I know. It was terrible.
And I mean, and then everyone was mad at us. But on the same hand, if you live long enough, this is what starts to happen. This is how life is. You cannot predict it. There's no like stress-free route really for anyone that I know of. Yeah. Right? Yeah. You just have to find out what you actually really want, which I think is a very big question.
Yeah, no, I agree for sure.
Yes. And I hope that is what I mean, we're still finding ourselves through this, right? And I think so interesting to look at Carrie and Big and this episode where this is when we learn that he's engaged to Natasha and her different struggles with it. And then at the end, you know, and I mean, we're going to get there in the rewatch, but the theme of what we're talking about, when she refers to, you know, your girl is Lovely Hubble, right? Which is the callback to The Way We Were and Robert Redford, Barbra Streisand. And he says, I don't get it. And she says, and you never did.
Right.
It is so good.
It's such a good line, right? You're like,
He
and you
never got her.
Yeah.
He doesn't deserve her.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we go through many things later and it works out differently, but like in that moment, and he's also wearing this brown suit. And I'm like, ew. I mean, I also think, and not that she hasn't been lauded and awarded, but like Sarah Jessica is so good.
Yeah, she's great.
I mean, the depth. Like in that scene with him at the end, you know, when she does say, and you never did, like she delivers it so light.
Well, it's so relatable. I mean, who hasn't sat around with their girlfriends talking about a breakup and just feeling confused and trying to like process it? And then I think the moment at the end was her just deciding to feel good about herself, even though that relationship didn't work out, and to feel how amazing she is. And she doesn't need that guy to affirm her, that she can just affirm herself. Yeah.
And basically that he didn't even get her.
Right.
You know, like after 2 years of her stressing about him and trying so hard and doing this and doing that and trying to get him to talk and, you know, following him around and different things, right? And then for her to finally go like, oh yeah, you're with that beautiful but kind of simple girl.
Right.
And you're wearing a brown suit, you know what I mean? And look, I'm amazing. You know? Like she is. She doesn't have to say it. It's just how it is, right? And then the comparison to the Barbra Streisand, Robert Redford relationship in The Way We Were, we basically say, which I had also kind of forgotten, that whole scene is super interesting with all four of us, where we're kind of reenacting, and Samantha has not seen.
Hilarious.
Which is
where
so
she
funny.
turns and looks at the camera, like kind of like,
and
what
she's
is
like,
going on?
I can't believe they're singing to me or whatever. But it's also kind of adorable because it's such an unusual position for her to be in, right? Like not knowing everything about everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I love when we're retelling the story of it to Samantha, and we say, you know, Barbra Streisand's there with her curly hair and she's really complicated. And then he ends up with the other lady who has straight hair. It's really simple, which is obviously Charlotte, but that's fine. But
but Charlotte is like totally lovable, and we know her as opposed to, you know, Bridget Moynihan, who is a lovely person. I know her and I work with her, but you know, they didn't develop that character where you really cared about her or knew her that well.
No, absolutely, and that's unfortunate in so many ways. And she and I talked about that because I do feel like it was kind of messed up what Carrie did.
Yeah, he screwed. They both kind of weren't so nice to her. Yeah.
No, and she didn't deserve that. You know, but that's partly why we wanted to have her on Just Like That too, to kind of have a, like, give her some credit. You know, that character.
Yes, of course.
And I do love Bridget, and she played that character so well. And the thing she told me, which was funny, and then we're going to rewatch. The thing that she told me that was funny was she didn't have any idea what it was, or they'd give her like 2 pages, or that she'd come back. Like they just call her and say, like, are you available? And she'd say yes. There was no contract.
Wow. So they didn't let her read the whole script? That is horrible as an actor.
I mean, know.
Yeah.
And look at how great she was.
I know. Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
like I think she just brought, she's
she's kind of, I mean, she's so beautiful. And she has a real elegance. So if you were dating a guy and then he started dating her, and especially if you know she's younger or whatever, as in the story, that would be so threatening and intimidating. You know,
and also she's just so different. She's so cool,
like perfect.
There's like a perfect coolness about her. You know,
she fits so perfectly into the waspy world of. Like,
I mean, you can see why. You know what I mean? Which is, I mean, it was perfect casting. Yeah, but also she's just so good. You know, and she brought that, which was amazing. All right, let's do the technical rewatch part. That was really fun.
Okay, cool.
Okay, the X and the City. Okay. This is fun because everyone has an amazing storyline, which is hard to do.
Really hard.
With 4, you know, leads, right? So we begin, I didn't remember any of this. Carrie and Miranda are out there. They're at a bodega. They're debating, does she buy the $5 flowers that last 3 days or the $10 flowers that last 5 days? It's all very funny and relatable and real. And then all of a sudden, Miranda looks down the street and sees Steve coming with the basketball. It is so adorable. And like a little child, she turns and she runs away, which is so cute. And that's when you kind of really realize, and again, I'm rewatching this whole relationship and thinking how incredible it is. So beautifully written, the Steve Miranda The
I know
acting.
he's so lovable. And it's cool how Miranda is like, she's kind of this like strong career woman, but then she has this other side, which
Yes.
is like, it's adorable.
Definitely. And I think you really see that clearly here because they've been broken up, right?
Yeah.
So she's seeing him and her response is to literally run with Carrie, which is so funny and not Miranda-like. But that's kind of how you know that this is not her regular relationship. This
Right.
is something more. And she's just struggling within, like, what does that mean for me? Because she
I was
thinks
so
of
rooting
herself.
for Steve when I was watching the show.
Oh my
I mean,
God,
who couldn't like
yes.
Steve,
I mean, I was not rooting for Steve.
You weren't?
Originally.
Yeah.
I don't know what I thought. I just thought it was odd. But when I look back on it, I'm blown over.
Yeah.
Number one, by how incredible he is.
Yeah, yeah.
And number two, it's just beautiful writing.
Yeah.
Like they're different, but they're complementary. And that's
Yeah.
what she needs.
Yeah.
She needs some grounding and some optimism.
He's so sweet.
So sweet and
Yeah.
just cuts through her like kind of her
Tough
her
attitude, yeah.
her shtick, you know what I'm saying? And I think I do feel sad when I look back because I know what's coming, which people definitely had a lot of feelings about.
I know, it is sad.
It is sad, but I mean, sometimes things don't work out.
Yeah.
All right, back to the episode. This is the funny thing too about looking back because we have had this joy of getting to create these characters for so incredibly long.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think that this aired in 1999.
That is wild. I mean, that's so cool that it culturally is still, people are still watching it.
It's
you
so
know?
true.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I always had a house here in LA.
Okay.
And I would go to work in New York and then I would come back here to like rest, right? And then in between seasons, definitely.
Right.
And one time, I think I was at a Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, possibly on Sunset Boulevard. And I think you were there. And I think you were there with Heath Ledger.
Yes, I dated him. And in fact, I think we might have watched the show together. And I think he actually really liked it. I remember us watching it and him being like, I can relate to this. Because I was like, I don't know, because sometimes you try to get guys to watch it with you. And some guys loved it, but other guys would be like, I don't know, that's a girl show.
Of course.
But no, I remember watching the show with him.
Well, we were standing there in line and I'm by myself. And you know that thing like when you're newly famous and you're like, oh my God, they're famous. And you're looking at them, but you really think that they
I feel
would
that
never.
way about you. I like forget that I'm famous. I'm like, oh my God, I'm talking to Charlotte. Like, oh my God.
Well, at the time, you two were just like this ray of light in this coffee bean.
I do remember that actually.
And you were like kind of like giggling and touching each other. And I was just like, like just like hold it together. Like I was just, you know, and you were
I wish you would have talked to us.
I know, I wish I would have too. It's one of those times where you're like, darn, I should not have been shy. But also I felt protective, like I didn't want to call attention to you because you seemed very free.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
That's nice. Yeah,
Like
I was very in love with him.
I can
when we
only
dated.
imagine.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
He's kind of amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. I mean, and the two of you looked so similar and beautiful. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was just like, wow. I'm like bowled over by these people. And I have to just stand here and act like
I have
I'm
a lot
calm.
of cool pictures of when I dated
bet.
him. And I thought at one point, like, maybe I should do like a photo album. But
I think people would love to see that.
I'm not really sure because I don't really, then they were like, you have to get the family permission. But I have some really cool pictures of when we dated.
I mean, of course you would want to be respectful, but at the same time, like what an incredible light and gift he was.
Yeah, he was.
And such a sad, you know, too short. His life was cut too short by pure accident, which was like so horrible and tragic. But I do remember that, and I had forgotten. I was going to ask you before we started if it was okay, but it's okay.
I feel proud that I dated him. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, what a special soul.
It was fun. Yeah,
I'm glad.
Yes.
And you guys look so.
I wish he was still alive. That would be nice. You
know.
Yeah,
I know. It's terrible and so talented.
It is. But some of these really bright lights kind of, you know, don't get to live so long. You know, if you look at like
I do feel
iconic, you know, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, you know, different amazing.
Oh, there's so many
artists. Yeah,
that's why when you think about Robert Redford, it's really amazing.
Yeah, he had a long, because
he was also.
I mean, if you die when you're like 90, that's a good life, and you weren't in pain, and you didn't have cancer, and you didn't like suffer like through Alzheimer's or something like that.
Totally,
like,
it's so incredible. It's so incredible, and he obviously deserves that. And I hope he's, you know,
Yeah.
with the trees.
Totally.
Right?
I did meet him once at Sundance. And
Did you?
He had a little thing around the Me Too time, and he had me come and talk about it. And I just remember he was really respectful, and he has that amazing energy where it just feels like he can quietly be there, be this presence, and you can really just feel this amazing energy.
Amazing.
And of course, Out of Africa too. That's another amazing Robert Redford movie.
Oh my God.
Do you want to hear the funniest thing? I rewatched it recently because I went to Africa for the first time, which, oh, by the way, you did that show in Africa. That movie,
I've been so many times.
I was jealous. I'm one of the producers I work with. I'm like, what an incredible job. You got to go on a safari in Africa. But
you worked with the producer there who was on my movie?
Yeah.
Vlaki?
No, not the producer there. He lives here. What's his name again?
It's fine. Brad?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, Brad. Yeah.
He's a trip.
Yeah, he is. But no. So I rewatched Out of Africa, and then I was going back and reading about it, and I was reading that there were these reviews when it came out where they were trashing the movie.
Can you believe?
And they were trashing his performance, and I was thinking,
you imagine?
That's why you can't take any reviews that seriously, because it's like, you know.
Oh, yes.
That was an amazing performance. He's like an iconic character in that movie. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And her as well. And, you know, they didn't think she was sexy enough to get that part.
No, I read about
she had to go buy a push-up bra and tart herself up for Sidney Pollack. What on earth? Our business.
Though Sidney Pollack has done some great movies.
I mean, he's incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Tootsie,
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
it's
no,
crazy
but it is bizarre to learn about
that. Do that, you know, and that then people criticize Redford. Oh.
And they were talking about how the movie wasn't good and criticizing that he didn't do it. I'm like, what are they talking about?
People are insane.
I know.
No, that's actually why I ended up having my obsession. I mean, it was the leaping off point of me wanting to go, and you know, then you know, life unfolding.
No, watching that movie,
I
was like, I got to go to Africa. That looks so
definitely,
cool.
and it is. It is. We're going to talk about that later. Okay, cool. Back to the episode. All right, we're on the street. We see Steve. He's adorable in his basketball outfit, and Miranda runs off, which is kind of funny. So then they go to. We're together. We're having we're in the classic coffee shop scene now. We have it established. For a while, we were in different restaurants. Now we have our set. We're in the scene. Those days would be very long days, as you can imagine.
So you guys always ate at the same restaurant?
We did. It was a set.
Interesting.
It was a set. Yeah, it was a set. Previous to us building our coffee shop set, we were in like different assorted places.
Right.
But then we got our set, and we could just be there for 18 hours and film every angle with beautiful lighting. Yeah. So that was great. The big thing that I love to think about from this, and I think it's still a really big issue, is can people be friends with exes? And in general, I think there's also a subtext of, can you have guy friends as a woman, you know, straight woman, I guess I should say. I don't know if that matters or not, but, you know, and basically Samantha is like, women are for friendships and men are for fucking, which is very
awesome.
Samantha.
I love her.
Yes, very Samantha. I know. But I mean, I personally love my male friends.
Right. I have one of my best friends is a guy. He gives me hope in like the whole gender. He's one of the nicest, best people I've ever known. He is like a brother. Right. I love his wife. I love their daughter. So I think for sure they can be friends.
Yeah, and I think it's important.
Yes.
I would go so
in
far
terms of being friends
say,
with your ex, I think it's possible, but maybe that's slightly more complicated. But being friends with a guy, like, yes, 100%.
Right. I mean, I think with your ex, I think you have to be careful that you're being fully honest with yourself about what you're doing, right? Like, are you really just hoping that you're going to get back together? For me, it would be, am I still codependently taking care of this person?
Interesting.
In which case,
I can totally relate to some codependency things. Yes,
then I have to cut that off. I don't want to. I never want to leave anyone.
But it is sad
really.
what they talk about in the episode. Like, why should you throw away? You spent so much time with this person, and then it's not working. You're like, and then you just throw them away and never talk to them again. That's also weird. You know?
I agree. But that's also how I've gotten into some not great situations where, like, I'm still on the phone hearing about whatever, you know what I mean? And I don't really have energy for that.
Okay,
you know
that sounds
like,
bad.
Why am I am I taking care of this person emotionally?
Yeah, no, that's bad.
You know?
No, but an occasional happy birthday, you know. Oh my God,
fine.
I'm so glad you're doing well.
I always want to be civil. I mean, there's very few that I wouldn't want to be civil to.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. So you're not exactly like Charlotte.
No.
No.
But I definitely am
Are you a Charlotte? No.
I am. That was good. That was smooth. I am like half Charlotte, half Carrie.
Really?
That's what I'd
Okay.
say.
Yeah. I get
Should we
it.
just ask you now too? Because I'm curious.
Yeah. Well, it is sort of, when I was younger, I think I did relate more to the other characters because I think I was rebelling against a traditional upbringing, But I do think now that I have incorporated more Charlotte into my personality.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when you say other characters, do you mean Samantha? Do you mean Miranda?
I mean, I could relate to Carrie. I think of Carrie as kind of like a romantic who has her love life is kind of going through all these ups and downs.
Yes.
I could relate to Miranda, who's like kind of a career woman who's just like, I want to have a career. I want to be independent. I want to try to achieve things. I want to be self-sufficient. I related to that.
Right.
And I could relate to Samantha just being, I was never that wild, but I definitely, was a little wild.
Sure. I mean, what's great about Samantha is that she just owns it.
Yes. I guess probably that an alter ego part of me would have loved to be more wild. But
do you remember your Lenny Kravitz American Woman? That was so powerful and so in a Samantha vein. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I think when I grew up, I was a nerdy kid, awkward. I was not seen as pretty.
What?
So I did feel like as an actor, I was pretending to be this like sexual. When in reality, I was pretty much just like I had boyfriends and whatever. But then I felt like I played up this other side, which is like this sexual alter ego. Do you know that song called Alter Ego?
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's amazing.
No, I do feel like I acted out like an alternate side of myself. So.
What about Roller Girl?
Right. So that's that, right? That's
what
me.
An incredible performance.
Thank you.
I mean, I loved that performance. And sometimes I just think about Hugh bashing that guy.
Oh my God, that was a fun scene. I want to do more angry scenes like that.
Right? I want to do scenes like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we need places to put
there were 2 skates we used. I donated 1 pair to the Academy Museum, and then this other pair was bought by my friend, this guy, this super successful director, Mike Flanagan. I'm working with him on this new Carrie TV show, but he bought the main pair that I wore. He just bought them as part, because he owns all this movie memorabilia. So he owns like the roller skates and like an outfit. It's really fun. He sent me a picture. He's like, "Is this what you wore in the movie?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay, I'm buying it at this props auction."
Right. Sometimes I wonder, you know what I mean? Like sometimes, because there's like 6 tutus that supposedly were all in the beginning. I know.
Really? Oh, in the credit sequence.
Everyone tells me when they tell me that they have it, I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Because I think Michael Patrick has it hanging on his wall. But okay,
wow.
Maybe there was more than one. Maybe who knows? But I just had such a flashback of that part and the joy of watching that.
That was really fun.
I mean, so
really
good.
Fun. Yeah.
So good. Okay, back to the show.
Okay. I feel like I'm distracting you. I should just stop talking.
It's great. Are you kidding? I mean, it's a joy. It's a joy to be having you here and talking about it.
Yeah, it's fun. No, honestly, it's really fun because I can't even tell you how much the show really did mean to me. So
thank
it's fun.
you. It's incredible to be part of something that means things to people.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It is.
It's the best part of our business, for sure.
It really is.
It pretty much evens out all the hard part. Don't you think?
Yeah, it does. It does. It really does.
And we're just so lucky. Okay, so here we are. We're at the table. We're discussing, and Carrie says a kind of a deep thing, which is what you were just referring to. She says, if you love someone and you break up, where does the love go? And Samantha says something like, to the other girlfriend. But I mean, really, it is a deep question. Like if you've really spent time with that person and gotten to know that person and kind of, like had a really deep exchange with that person, like then it's just over, bam. Like how? Why? Yeah. But this has also led me down some bad roads. so this, I relate to this. I want to
hear all those stories
so much.
off
you're
out
not
of the
gonna hear
podcast.
all the stories. Not all the stories. But
Okay.
I mean, so back to the Charlotte part, the part of me, and it is kind of what you referred to about Carrie being a romantic. She is a romantic too, right? In her own way. Like it looks different for her than it looks for Charlotte, right? Charlotte is much more of kind of what society tells you, like marriage, family, kids, puffy wedding dress, blah, blah, blah. I never had that, but I do have the romantic side where like, it's hard for me to let go. I believe in love.
Yeah,
I'm, might believe too much, when all the signs would be telling me like,
oh my God,
get
I can
out.
relate. Like I can go into a fantasy in my head and like go, well, not always see reality.
100%, as can I. And I mean, I think that's important to be able to do that, certainly for our jobs, but I think also for life, right? Because if you can't like kind of imagine the possibilities, then it's just hard.
Yeah.
Life is hard.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of have one foot in both camps. But sometimes when I'm watching back and I look at everyone's point of view, and in those scenes where we do all have 4 very distinct points of view, I can kind of go with everybody. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I'm like, oh yeah, she's
Everyone's
right.
got a good point.
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh no, she's right too. And then I'm like, oh yeah, we're all right, which is kind of good. I like that's good writing, right? So then, we have such a great shot of Sarah Jessica. I love to watch the shots of Sarah Jessica evolve over time of her writing.
Okay.
And her wearing a sort of different underwear. And she's so good with her body. And in this one, it's hot. But it's just a beautiful, if you look at the beginning of our show and then like where it goes visually. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
And again, that was HBO allowing us and our DPs. And I remember different directors coming in and kind of like upping the game, you know, and
your wardrobes. Course.
Totally. But also we had to get more money, you know, like when Molly came on, she reminded me that we had $10,000 for the whole first season.
What? How did you guys do it?
Don't know.
Must have gotten a bunch of free stuff.
We didn't because no one knew who we were and what we were doing. The Fendi baguette was the first one.
Right.
And that was Sarah Jessica kind of, you know, just using her relationships and getting one. And then it, you know, went from there.
Wow.
And she would so sweetly make so much effort to show it. Like I remember doing scenes where she'd put it on her plate.
That is so funny. That's so
and we'd
funny.
be like, are you sure? She's like, just till the food comes.
I remember like the episode that I did that she was pregnant. And so she was trying to hide her pregnant belly with a purse. And it was so funny because she had to hold a purse in front of her stomach.
It so didn't work because I think she brought her Kelly or Birkin or whatever.
Right.
And she had it and it worked, but then the sun would hit and her shadow on the street would be pregnant. I know. That was
good for her though. You know,
of course, good for her and good for them for trying. And then at a certain point, they were like, "Everybody go home. Everybody just
this
go
is
home."
pretty obviously,
you know. And also Cynthia was pregnant at that point too. Yeah, a little bit later, but the same year. So they were like, "Just go home.
Right.
We'll see you in a year." And it all worked out. At the time, it seemed very stressful, but it all worked out. Okay, Heather Graham is just too much fun. So she is going to continue breaking down X and the City with us. So please come back and hear part 2 with Heather Graham of Are You a Charlotte?